Day 25. Day 25 are 30 days of Photoshop with me, Kevin Aronson from Hampshire School of Photography. And today on the left-hand toolbar, we're looking at blur, sharpen and smudge. So the blur, sharpen and smudge tools are here on the left-hand side of the menu, on the tools menu. Let's kick off with the middle one first, the sharpen tool. What we're looking at here on this photograph is very basically some pegs left out overnight, caught in the early morning frost. Sun's hitting them from behind. They're taken with I think this was with a Canon 5D Mark IV with a 100mm macro lens, and you've got some really sharp looking icicles around the edge of the peg. If I zoom in on them, you can see in fact they are sharp, and with the sharpening tool selected, the middle one, as I move my mouse across them, they get sharpened even more, and the more I move my mouse on them, the more the sharpening takes place, until you get to the point where actually the image then starts going a little bit crazy and doesn't look realistic. Because what's happened, if I zoom out, the process of sharpening that Photoshop uses is to look for pixels closely packed together which are both bright and dark, because that suggests, well, let me show you, let me zoom into here. Okay, zoom in a bit more. So what we're looking at here is one icicle or two icicles here, and you can see that what we've got are dark pixels, these ones here, next to these bright ones, and that normally suggests that there's an area of sharpness in an image where it could be a face or an animal, or in this case a piece of ice. And the tool for sharpening, all it does, and this happens in the more sophisticated parts of Photoshop as well, is it takes those bright areas and the dark areas and increases the contrast between them. So if I start painting over this, you'll see those bright and dark areas. See, the bright areas are getting brighter, the dark areas are getting darker. And that is all sharpening is. And that's why you can't sharpen a blurred picture. If you're taking a photograph and it's out of focus, you can't soften it in Photoshop because it doesn't have those areas of sharpness already there for Photoshop to emphasize. And that's all that Photoshop is doing. It's emphasizing by increasing the blacks and increasing the whites so they show up more. Let's zoom back out. Nevertheless, if I just take off all those adjustments and now go back to this area, just adjust my brush size. There we go. So just a few swipes of this should improve the sharpness of those pieces. It does. What about this coil here? Yes, that looks surprisingly sharp now compared to what it was. And then there's another coil down here which we can sharpen as well, which may not show up so well in a video. And this green peg down here has got some sharp bits on it, so we'll just do some sharpening there. And I've done something which I really hate to do. I've done it on the background, so I'm actually going to undo all of that. Going to create a duplicate layer by pressing on a Mac Command J, on a PC Control J, and now I'll do my changes on that. In fact, I won't. Yes, I will. Yeah, I'll do it on there. So if I zoom in a little bit and now I do my changes, you see they're all looking a little bit sharper, but it's only because the contrast has been increased between the highlight and the darker elements of the image where I've scanned, where I've applied the changes. What about here on this coil? This could look really nice and sharp if I spend a bit of time on that. No, that's looking really sharp. That's great. Okay, so that's sharpening. Let's get rid of that layer. In fact, let's delete the whole everything we've done. I'll create a fresh layer just as a matter of course. And now let's go and have a look at the blur tool. The blur tool does completely the opposite. If I apply the blur tool to these icicles, boom, look at that. Contrast has completely disappeared and everything's gone super soft. Super soft. One of the advantages of doing the adjustments on a separate layer is you can actually adjust the layer to adjust the level of blur in the same way you could have adjusted the layer of sharpness with the sharp tool. That's nice and easy. Okay, blur tool, and also we've now seen the sharpen tool. So let's have a look then finally at the smudge tool. And the smudge tool, well, actually we use this again. Let's make my brush a bit smaller. The smudge tool really just like smudges. There we go. It's kind of smudged it. It's kind of stretched the image. Let's undo that. I'm going to increase the strength of the smudge. Look at this. That is so cool. I just got a picture here which might work well on. So I'm attracted to these pots on the right hand side, and if I click on this pot, making sure my brush is kind of like the right size just to completely surround it, and I click and drag, I can raise this pot up in the air. Let's undo that with Control or Command Z. If I hold my Shift key down at the same time, it constrains the image so that it only goes straight up with no wiggles, which is quite nice. If I was to click somewhere else and drag that and hold it left or right, with the Shift key held down again, it holds it in. Even with my mouse going left to right, it still keeps it level. As soon as I let go of the Shift key, it goes wobbly again. Hold it down and it's steady. Let go and it's wobbly. Let's undo that. I'm going to zoom right into this window down here, and I'm going to adjust my brush size so it's just bigger than a window. There we go. And it's straight because I'm holding down the Shift key. If I pull back on that now, let's have a look. You see from a distance, it looks like that's French windows. You get the idea. I'm just playing around with this and experimenting. Okay, 3 tools learnt today, 3 more tomorrow. You can view all 30 days of 30 Days of Photoshop free of charge on our blog, just here, phototeacher.blog. All 30 days are available and they won't cost you a penny. On the other hand, if you're looking for some real workshops in real classrooms with real people, then we've got a training centre in Fleet in North Hampshire where we run workshops not just on Photoshop and Lightroom, but also it's where we run all our photography workshops, whether it's a single day, just a few days, and of course some of our courses run for a whole year as well. So it's for anyone really starting from basic right through to advanced amateur, going through to professional. Check us out on our website, which is gohsp.com, and obviously HSP stands for Hampshire School of Photography. Thanks for watching today. See you tomorrow for the next one.